Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about an alternate method on how to blend your colored pencils. So far I think we've talked about other ways to blend colored pencils, like you could use a blender pencil that usually each colored pencil company will make a blender pencil. You could use a white pencil. My good friend Mags Tam introduced me to the fact that I could use a cream colored pencil to blend my colored pencil combos. And you could also use an alcohol marker. But today I wanted to talk to you about using odorless mineral spirits. So this is Gamsol. I got it on Amazon. It wasn't very expensive at all. This was the smallest container I could find, 4.2 ounces, because I wasn't sure if this was something I'd use a lot of or how frequently I would actually use it. So this is a solvent. It is odorless. So think of this as like a turpentine, like a paint thinner, but for colored pencils. So what it's going to do is allow you to apply this on your coloring page, and it will sort of push the pigment around a little bit, break it down, and allow you to push it around to blend it even smoother than you might get with a burnished look. So you do want to, because it is a solvent, it will evaporate, so you do want to keep it covered. And it is toxic, just as, you know, general warning, and it's combustible, so don't go and set it on fire. That's a chem safety tip. But also keep the lid on so you don't accidentally spill it. Hey, how about that? Common sense. All right, so there are a couple of different ways you can apply Gamsol. So the most traditional way that I've seen people is using what's called a blender stump. And this is literally tightly wound paper. And you could probably just like put a dent in it or bend it. It is paper that, I don't know if you can see like the little spiral, maybe not. There you go. You can see how it sort of spirals up to the top. I'm kind of not, I mean, these are okay. These are good if you like the feel of a color. It feels like you're coloring with a colored pencil when you use the blender stumps. And we'll go ahead and I'll show you. Some alternate ways would be to also get just a simple paintbrush. These are real cheap. I just have cheap brushes I got at, I think at Hobby Lobby, excuse me there. Something else too is you could get a variety cotton swab pack, and isn't this cool? So it comes with, like, this one has 3 different kinds of cotton swabs. And I bought this when I was experimenting with creating backgrounds using eyeshadow. So look, this is a really cool flat tip, and I think it might actually be for real eyeshadow application, I don't know. But then you also have this tip, which is a lot like your blender stump with that point. So it's going to give you that control in those tight little areas that you might want. So let me show you how we can do this. You also want to have like a tissue or a paper towel on hand, just to sort of dab the solvent off of whatever you're using. So we're going to try first with the blender stump. So what we're going to do today, I've got Black Widows, Polychromos, and Prismacolors. And I tried to find the closest colors I could. I probably could have done a better job with the Black Widows. They say when you're doing a scientific experiment, well, there is a phrase called, a Latin phrase, ceteris paribus, which stands for holding all else equal. And that might be one of the only things I remember from high school. But when you do an experiment, you want to try to isolate as many variables as you can. So what I try to do is hold the color constant so you wouldn't be influenced by the color as I'm applying the Gamsol. So hopefully you can just see the Gamsol effect. So I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to dip it in here. You can see there it's got the Gamsol in there now. And then I might just dab a little bit. The other thing too about these blender stumps is because it's paper, it will absorb a lot of the solvent itself. So you might go through more of it if you use these, I guess. So, oops, sorry about that. Let me go ahead and just start applying. And I'm going to move from the light section down into the dark section. And I don't even really see this doing anything, to be honest. And it might be just how light these colors are. Okay, let's not do that. So blender stump fail. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use a cotton swab. All right, just dip that in there. And oh, that's actually quite a bit, shoot. So you can see here, Black Widows are wax-based pencils. So they will be comparable to the Prismas. And you can see here what I did because I had so much solvent on there. See how it actually picked up the pigment? So, and you know what? I don't mind having little oopsies like this in my videos because number one, I'm rolling live, not live, but sort of, but it shows you what not to do. So, and you can see here, this went through the back of the paper. By the way, this is 120 pound multimedia paper. So that is Black Widows, and I will do another one down here in just a minute with the paintbrush. Now I want to do Polychromos. I'm going to try to not soak the crud out of that. All right, hopefully let's see if this works a little better. And again, you want to move from the light into the dark on here because the dark will really take over if you go the other way. Oops, let me put just a little bit more on there. You can see how it's smoothing out some of those streaky lines that I have. I'm really bad when I see how now I can drag the dark into the light. When I color, so usually with colored pencils, what you should do is color in little circles, which allows it to be easier for you to blend. I tend to be a straight colorer, so I get a lot of streaky lines, and that can be challenging when I try to blend that out. So there's Black Widows, Polychromos, and let's try Prismacolor now, and I'll just use the other side of this little, I'm using the aqua colored Q-tip now. And maybe aqua is my favorite color, but that's not why I'm using this one, but maybe it is. Okay, here we go. So I am applying in little circles, just real gentle. And now we're moving. Now, because I love my Prismas, I got a little extra and I'm using 4 colors on this combo. Don't ask me why, I just am. And this is, oh, it's blending so beautifully. It's really pretty. But this might be an alternate way for you to get a more finished blended look. And you can see here now, it's streaking a little bit. There you go. All right, now let me zoom back out. So you can kind of see the difference, like a before and after of what these look like. So now let me try it with a paintbrush. And this is, I've never used a paintbrush with this before. So this is Gamsol Experimentation 101. You're seeing it here first. I've never done this, but the same thing. I'm dunking the brush in the Gamsol, and then I'm sort of dabbing out part of that solvent on my tissue that's right here next to this. Now, I saw in a couple of other videos that I watched online that some people, I guess you can go back and do multiple layers of color and then mineral spirits, and then add more color, add more mineral spirits, and do that back and forth. And what I worry about there is maybe the integrity of the paper. And, you know, this is like heavier paper, so I think it can probably even take watercolor. I think it can handle it. But I'm not sure what Amazon paper would do, so we're actually going to play with Amazon paper in just a minute. So again, like that blended really pretty. I think there's too much on there, but we'll keep going. Now, one thing, because mineral spirits are sort of like a paint thinner, you can actually, to clean your brush, you can just stick it back in there and it'll clean it right up for you. All right, Polychromos, here we go. And this is, like you can see, it's a really super cheap brush. I have no reason to invest in really nice, expensive brushes. I don't really paint. Although I got my first paint by number canvas the other day, and it is a mandala painting. So I might have some videos as I go and try to tackle that, since I've never done that before, just for something fun and a little different. Okay, this is blending really, really pretty. Polychromos. Okay, guys, so you can see now, one thing you can see too, though, it is streaky. So if you are a streaky colorist, it's not going to solve all the streakiness for you. So if you blend it better up front before you apply the mineral spirits, you're probably going to get a much better result and it won't be as streaky. All right, and now lastly, we'll try the Prismas with the mineral spirits. Let's see how that works for you guys. Oops. All right. This is just really, I love this pink combo. And I'll leave the pencil numbers in the description for you guys. And you probably would do better with a brush with a tapered point or tapered bristles than this one. This is more of a flat kind of brush, I guess. Again, you can see all my streakiness is still there, but it's definitely a lot smoother and more blended than it was before. So there we go. I wanted to do one little bonus test. I'm curious, and I'm sure there's probably information on this readily available online, but I just thought it'd be fun to try it. I'm going to try Inktense and see if we can, what happens if you try to activate Inktense with odorless spirits. I'm not even sure if I'm coloring this in the right order, but I think we're about to find out. See how these colors look together. All right. So hopefully this is purpley to a pink to a lighter pink, which is carmine pink here. All right, so let's get the paintbrush and let's see how this does. This should be interesting. Okay. Again, we're gonna go, oops, I think that's almost got a drop on there. Light to dark. And I don't think this activates the Inktense as much as water or maybe rubbing alcohol would. All right, so there you go. You learned it firsthand here. It does okay, but it's not really pigmented like the Inktense normally is. So just say no to activating Inktense with mineral spirits. If you have experience doing that and know how to do it, please drop a comment, not just for me, but for everybody else, so we can be educated on how to do that. All right, one thing I wanted to do here was try this on Amazon paper. And let me get a piece of paper to put behind here because it is going through. So this is from my, this is my new book, Lighthearted Mandalas to Go Volume 2. And this is actually, oops, oh gosh, this is the first page. So here I've got Prismas, Polys, and Black Widows. So I'm going to go back to the Q-tips, or not Q-tips, cotton swabs. For those of you not in the U.S., you're probably like, what is it? I don't know if they make, do they sell Q-tips outside of the U.S.? I have no idea. So again, here I am. I've got too much solvent on there. But you can see, especially in designs like this little point is really helpful. And it's actually blending really pretty. Now I can see here, it's starting to pick up, like right in here, it's starting to pick up some of the ink. So maybe this would be an opportunity to go in and try a second layer after this dries. I don't know how long it takes for this to dry, so maybe give it a couple of hours or just test it and see. All right, now let's try the Polychromos right next to it here. Okay, let's try this. That looks really pretty. And what I like is that it does push some of the ink, or not ink, I'm sorry, some of the pencil pigment into those little white spaces you can get on this Amazon paper because it is textured. All right, so now let's try Black Widows. Get another cotton swab here. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is blending really beautifully. So you can use this on Amazon paper. All right, I've got too much. Again, it's picking up a lot of that ink. So just be sure you test how much Gamsol you actually put on these before you use them. Let's see here. So if I zoom back out, there you go. So you can't see it here, but it does bleed through. So definitely, if you're going to use this on Amazon paper, you want to put a piece of cardstock behind your page. So that's it. This is really more experimental for me with you guys than anything, but it's always fun to try something new. And you can see these are kind of drying, and as it dries, that what is it, like that translucent color you get with like water on paper, that's going away. It's evaporating. But you can see it's really pretty, and it gives a nice smooth blend, something different, something fun to try. So if you try this, please tag me and let me know how it went for you. Thank you for watching and always joining me, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much.